We're live with Tony Brave on Dom Joseph Podcast, episode 9. What's going on, Tony? Thank you so much for joining.
Hey, what's going on? Happy to be here.
Yeah, this is actually a nice day. I look at it today. It's not raining. It's not anything really dramatic today. It's actually a nice day. We were able to walk to the Cougar Mart and meet up. And all right, well, let's get this started.
Sure. Yeah, it is. I totally agree, though. It's a beautiful day. It's always like either windy and cold or snowy, or we had a flood a couple weeks ago, maybe, or a week and a half ago. It's just always something going on. But
we've had like almost everything of weather here. We've had again, rain, flood, snow, and we're about to get 90-degree weather. It's just I don't really know what to say about Pullman, Washington some days. But let me start off with saying, who's Tony Brave? What do you want people to know about you before we get into the real details of this podcast?
Yeah, so hello, my name's Tony Brave. I'm Lakota, Chippewa, and Cree. On my dad's side, and my mom's side, I'm white. So I get the best of both worlds.
Yep.
Yeah. I can enjoy Bjork. And read some Deloria.
Yep.
And that's how it goes. I'm a Rosebud Sioux tribal member, Chichango Oyate. And yeah, super happy to be here. I work for Native American programs at Washington State University. I do outreach for Native youth pretty much, and it's a pretty awesome place to be for sure. Yeah, and before that I was a teacher, so I do a lot of teachy stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember when I first came to Wazoo, I was telling you before the podcast, actually, the Native Center is one of the places I really wanted to check out. Mm-hmm. And this year, I started spending a little more time there. And I think we met by you walking into the Native Center and just saying, hey, what's going on? You're just doing your weekly, your daily, what's up? And I was just sitting there, I was like, what up? And then we talked for 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah, man, I don't know how video games came up or something like that. I think I was saying I was playing some video game, and you're like, man, you play old school games or Mortal Kombat? I was like, dude, I play that. And then we talked for 2 hours, and I think you're like, all right, I think I should probably get back to work. And I think we've had those conversations too a couple times throughout months and weeks where we're just like, oh shit, time's going by. I should be doing homework and you should be doing work. And it's just, but when we're talking, there's not a lot of indigenous people, I feel like, that really represent the gaming or want to be really upfront about it.
Yeah.
Or just really not even indigenous people. I think a lot of people just like to hide that hobby of being a video gamer.
Yeah, certainly more. When I grew up, it was definitely something that you didn't want to, tell the girl that you're, sprung on that you like to play Final Fantasy or anything like that. But I think nowadays it's changing a little bit. I don't know. I'm starting to find out that there's a lot more people, a lot more Native guys and gals that are into gaming, playing games, making games, and I'm just super stoked to see all this incredible work that's coming out right now. Starting off, I want to say it's kind of starting off slow and it's building up, but from what I've heard is that John Romero, the guy who created Doom, he's I think he's Yaqui and Cherokee. Mm-hmm. And he co-created Doom, right? So anyways, and that's something that Elizabeth LaPonce, another game designer, Dr. Elizabeth LaPonce, I think she's at University of Michigan, teaching game design and stuff like that. So anyways, I heard her talk about that, and I was like, what? That is the coolest thing ever, to know that one of the most famous video games in all history, was there's a Native guy behind making it. So I was like, damn, that's awesome.
That's even in the when you told me too, Thor. You mean to bring it to movies and stuff. Thor was directed by a New Zealand and indigenous guy.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. He's a Maori.
Yeah, that's guy. Even I loved the movie at first, and then after you told me that, I wanted to watch it even more.
Yeah,
and it's just cool to see. And
did you watch it again?
Yeah, I watched it over again. I'm actually really pumped for the Avengers, man. I've been telling you the past 2 weeks. We bought our tickets 2.5 weeks ago. I've been pumped. I mean, if I had a costume, I'd probably dress up, but I don't have the money to go get an Iron Man costume.
But you'd wear it.
But I'd definitely if someone said, "Hey man, I got my Iron Man costume from a Halloween party,"
Yeah.
I'm just saying I might wear it. But movie theaters nowadays, you can't really wear masks or nothing after the whole
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Colorado thing a couple
Yeah.
years ago.
Huh.
Yeah, so kind of ruined the experience there again. But yeah, again, so where did video games really stem from? Because I know when I was younger, it stemmed from me just watching and being like, I want to play that. Like the first game I think I witnessed watching being played was Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Wow.
And like my brother's dad was
One of the most violent games ever. You're like my early childhood.
yeah, and like
video
one of the
game.
first cartoons I saw was South Park.
Okay.
And like I was like, man, I really want to watch these, or I really want to play Mortal Kombat. My mom's like, no, you're not gonna play that. Here's like Yoshi World, or here's Mario 64.
Yeah.
So those were like my first really gaming experiences. But you
Huh.
know, since you're older than me, what was yours? Because I know that was mine. Those video games are older than me. What was your first experience to look at? Like, was it like that where you're watching someone play and you're like, wow, I really want to be part of that?
I'm not exactly sure what my first video gaming experience was. I do remember. Well, I've always loved games, like when it was like whether it's cards or board games or video games. I mean, for me, they're like I was born in 1980, so they're already around by the time I was a kid. But I remember some early memories. I remember playing like Pac-Man, for example, on the arcade machine.
Yeah.
Like at Mr. Bill's in
Yeah.
Everett. I don't know if you remember.
I've never been to that. Where is that one by?
They've closed. They're all gone.
Oh, okay.
But there was one I think on 99, and then later there was one I remember at the Everett Mall.
Okay.
Yeah, but I remember playing that, and I remember like strangely I remember the details. Like I was there with my grandma, and my grandpa, and my mom, and I remember a lot of smoke because
Yeah.
you could smoke in restaurants back in those days.
You could
I
smoke
remember-
in the arcade?
Yeah, my grandpa, I was looking at the game, and I was really bored waiting for food, I think. And he gave me he just like reached into his pocket and like pulled out all these coins and just said like, have fun. So that's one of my early memories. And then at a babysitter's house, they had this thing called a Texas Instruments computer, like a TI something or
Okay.
other.
Like what the calculators are made of?
Yeah. They made little computers as well. And so they had one of those, and there was 3 games that I remember playing, and I don't know why. I was the only kid who really liked playing any of those games. I don't know. I guess kids love running around and like throwing water balloons more or something like that. That's those are pretty cool daycare though, like that you could do all this stuff. But
Finger painting. and all
yeah,
that kind of
finger
stuff.
painting, edible finger painting.
Yeah.
pudding painting. Anyway, yeah, there's one where I think it's Zorg. I think it's called Zorg.
Okay.
As I look back at it, I heard about people talking about the one where you it's all text based and you have to type in like commands like go north, go
Okay.
east, and push enter, right? And so you're exploring this like mansion or something like that, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like I was, this is like when I first started learning to do English, really. And so I didn't get very far. The only excitement that I ever had was when he killed me, when the vampire got me. But like I was just excited to get to that point. And then there's another game where like a spaceship game where you're sort of behind a spaceship and you're in you can see the back of the spaceship and you can sort of turn left and turn right as it's sort of like going forward, right? Kind of like Star Fox.
Okay.
Actually. So it's kind of like maybe a predecessor, like a proto Star Fox. So that you're driving around like that. And it was this weird striped ground. So it was like probably caused, I don't know, like the reason why people have those warnings or those games have those warnings where they're like,
yeah, like this could cause like
seizures or something.
Yeah, seizures. You're like,
Yeah.
oh damn, this could actually hurt me.
Yeah, like it was really like hypnotic, right? So I really loved playing that game, and I guess they had Frogger as well. That was okay. And then another game which I found really interesting was this turtle game.
Okay.
I don't even know what the names of these are, but I remember
Like pre Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, way pre Ninja Turtle. Yeah. So the Ninja Turtles didn't like hit till later for sure. This is like 1980, like 6 or 7 or something. Maybe something like that. But maybe earlier that game came out. But anyways, what you would have to do is you want to get your kind of top down view, and your turtle I remember starts on the bottom right of the map, and then he wants to get to this hole or something like that. And so what you would have to do, and he has to get around all these obstacles, maybe cross some water over a log or something like that. And you would actually have to type in all of the commands of how he would go, like turn left, go right, go straight, turn left, go right. So you'd have to plan it all out, and then you'd execute it, and then you'd watch them go, and you'd have to go up the map, and you'd traverse it without. So you're sort of programming the turtle to traverse the terrain, and I thought that was just so incredible. I loved all of these things, so I remember those were pretty foundational experiences for me.
We look at like games like that. We look at you're programming a turtle to go a certain way. And now you look at what we have now. we have games that are just like, they look movie quality.
Right.
And it's just like, at the same time, it's even from my age, and I bet you it's even more dramatic from seeing that, because I never got to see, those pre-games. Like my earliest was 64, Sega, Dreamcast stuff. But I look at it and go like, wow, like we have virtual reality now. It's getting like more and more. And like, I think as time goes on, it's like, starting to be a little more okay with being like, hey man, like I like playing video games, because who doesn't at this point, like there's a video game for everything. Like if you like to cook, you could do that. True. Mobile gaming now, like where you can like cook those little patties, or say you like to do like Kim Kardashian type stuff. She has like her own app now to as far as like Call of Duty. So it's like it caters to everyone nowadays, which is super cool.
I didn't know Kim Kardashian. I'm gonna have to download it.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian has an app.
It's my jam right now.
It's like the Kim K app, and it's like, you're basically a person, and you got to get famous. Huh. So I don't know if they have like how she got famous on there, but like they have. But I'm a big Kim Kardashian fan, like the Kardashian. I watch the show.
You get to a point where you can actually create your own TV show, or something like that.
Yeah, it's super. I haven't played it.
Actually, sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of people hate on it. They're like, "Oh, it's Kim Kardashian." I'm like, dude, she's obviously doing it right.
Yeah,
she's doing something right.
Yeah. I'm not gonna hate.
Yeah, I don't like to hate.
I don't really know anything about her, so but
yeah.
I mean, I like those simulation games though. Like one of my favorite games is on a mobile game is called Game Dev Story, and it's basically where you start off as a little tiny studio, and you start hiring people. You start off with a certain amount of money that you can spend, and then you can like hire somebody, and then you can expand and make games. For different consoles. It goes through these different generations. So slowly you're making money. The more money you make is the better people you can hire. And the more better people you can hire, the better games that you make, and the more money that it is that you make. I love these kind of games. They're a lot of fun.
What is it? What is that one called?
Game Dev Story.
Game Dev. I'm actually going to write that down right now and actually play that, because that sounds really fun.
It's pretty cheap. You can actually...
On your iPhone?
iPhone. Okay. Yeah, so it was originally it's a mobile game originally. Yeah, I think they started releasing it for consoles possibly as well, but or PC. I don't know, but look it up. It's cheaper on Android.
Okay, I think my first simulation game was probably My Sims or Sims.
Sims.
Both of them I played, and they're fun. But I would have won one more like that, because My Sims I didn't really like get that into.
Yeah.
But I feel like something like that I would really get into. So like as we're on the video game topic, you know, what is gaming to you? Because a lot of people do it for honestly different reasons. I feel like, like I feel like it's like it gives me, it's just a getaway from life, and it's like a good time for me. That's what it is for me. Like really, really broadly. But what would it be to you?
Well, I don't know. I think there's just so many different kinds of games, like, and they can scratch so many different kinds of itches, right? So one thing about me is I do like games where you're competitive or playing online, or you're fighting against somebody else, something like that. It's something I really like. It's totally different, from like an RPG game. Like if I'm playing, let's say. I was gonna say Dark Souls, but Dark Souls has like an online component. Online now? Well, it always was. It has, and then you can like invade into people's worlds, and then you end up being like into a fighting situation where you're fighting against somebody online. But maybe like Dragon Warrior, like the original, or Dragon Quest is another name that it's known under. Those old school RPGs are very different than that, and they scratch a different itch. Just to explore world, or Skyrim, right? Okay, so a little more contemporary, which actually Skyrim's like, I don't know how old, 10 years old now?
Is Skyrim that old now?
I don't know. Something like that. Maybe 8.
I think it came out on the 360, right?
Or
was it the first one game?
It came out, in that generation, I think, of the 360 generation, for sure. didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it
PS3.
did.
I had it on PS3. Okay. But yeah, so there's all kinds of different games, like little puzzle games, big games, small games, games that are made by people who are trying to tell this little personal story. Games where they're like ultra difficult. Games where you're not even there isn't really any challenge, and you're sort of just enjoying the beauty or the mystery of it and trying to kind of figure things out. So I mean, there's such a diversity of games, and I like it all.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty. I mean, I can't say I love every game that I play or anything like that, but I mean, I'm not beholden to any sort of genre or game type, which is something a lot of people these days seem to be. They're like quite siloed, or they're like, oh,
I only play first-person shooters.
yeah, or
It's like a mob.
only Xbox or only PC or whatever like that. Like I have a PC, I have an Xbox 360, I got a Nintendo. I don't know. So I don't limit myself that way. Yeah. So, but for me in general, like I would say in general, I think that games are art, right? And they can be entertainment, and they can be competitive gaming. They can be all these different things, but for me, the thing I like most about them is how they can. I guess now that I think about it, maybe I'd divide it into two different categories, like competitive gaming or skill-based
Okay.
gaming, and then art kind of gaming, like where it has story and stuff like that. And then maybe it's a sliding scale
Yeah.
between both of them, because every game has art.
Yeah.
Every game can have some sort of, even Tekken, which is like
Yeah.
punching and kicking each other. That's the main thing about it, but it has this weird convoluted background story that's just way over the top and silly. But yeah, so I would put in those two categories, right? So yeah.
So yeah, with video games, I know that in a game like Tekken, in a game like say I were to go to Flappy Bird, there's a lot, like there's a big difference, but there's still a level of enjoyment for both of them as for both parties. Like, because I
Sure.
know some people treat Flappy Bird like how you and I would treat playing Tekken together.
Yeah.
And
They
it's
could get serious about it, right?
yeah, they can get really into it, and it's just like, again, it kind of goes into that. Everyone kind of has their own niche too. In even beyond video games, it's like that. So like everyone's gonna be, for instance, me and my buddies. The reason I have an Xbox is because most of my friends have an Xbox, and like it's crazy to think that it's like that, but it's so true because I wanted to be able to play with my friends, and that's the reason why I have the console I have. And like, don't get me wrong, I want to get the Switch, and there's some cool ass games on PS4, but like
Yeah.
the main reason I picked the Xbox was because my buddies had it.
Yeah.
And it's, and what I really like about Fortnite right now, and I know a lot of people, like to hate on it, is that it's cross-platform. And then it gives me the opportunity to play with someone on the PC, PS4, Switch, and mobile even.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. That's what I really like what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's free.
I mean, yeah, of course, the more popular something gets, the more hate it gets as well, right? But I do I really do enjoy how games bring people together for sure. Like growing up playing in the arcades back in the day, that was like one of the funnest things in my entire life. I'll look back at it and remember it forever fondly. Me and my buddies, trying to figure out all the secret moves, in Mortal Kombat or whatever, or what are some strategies, in order to beat Goro. Like Goro was like this ultimate challenge,
The
like
forearm
none of
guy.
us could figure out, right? Let alone get to Shang Tsung, right, which is the last guy in Mortal Kombat, the forearm guy. And then my friend is like, oh man, I learned how to roundhouse kick him. If you can just roundhouse kick him over and over and over again. I'm like, what? You could do that, and then we get to Shang Tsung, and I'd be like, yeah, if you just like jump at the, if you kind of walk back and then you jump forward and walk back and jump forward, you can sort of chain kick him over and over and over again. So and seeing the other people play, like we had this community, right? This culture around these games, right? And then later, yeah, with the Xbox and PS4 and all the internet connected games, it's just it just brings people together, just like sitting around and playing board games can do that too.
Yeah, board games I love getting like a good board game session in. Honestly though, like my family takes Monopoly really serious. Like it gets to the point where like, okay, we're gonna sit down, it's a 4-hour game or longer, and it gets bad. Like people like say, like for instance, like one time me and my family were playing, and like I traded someone like to get a whole property.
Yeah.
And like everyone was just pissed off at my cousin. Like, what were you thinking?
Right.
Like now we're all
right.
fucked. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's so fun to see how like it brings up. Even Uno gets intense, and it's just like I think our whole family gets super competitive in games, and I love that edge because that's another reason why I like sports too, is because it's super competitive.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also the opportunity to play it just for the hell of it. You know, there's games like where I could just go play Mortal Kombat for fun, but there's most of the time into Mortal Kombat. To backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
What I started, and my number one thing was I have to, you know, I didn't have a printer, I didn't have a computer. I would have to go to someone's house who had a computer, look at like a site and print that off.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
even
GameFAQs.com.
and even then I was so young, my mom would get pissed if I was on like Game Guru or whatever because it kind of looked like a porn site, to be honest with you. It had like the naked girl advertisements and like
on the sidebar.
Yeah, I guess, you know, I probably picked that one just because I liked that one as a kid. But that was my number one stressor. But I know playing at the arcade, you know, I had the luxury of just, you know, restarting it without putting another quarter in. You, on the other hand, you had to be like, damn, I have to put another quarter in just to get to Goro.
Yeah. Yeah, we had money on the line, right? Yeah, and I grew up pretty poor, relatively speaking, in America. So, you know, it was very precious. Each quarter was was very precious. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Growing up in different eras really is something, right? So the way when I grew up, so we would share all these. We'd have like a pen and piece of paper. We're really nerdy about it. Like it was so cool though. Like I had an arcade that was within walking distance to my house, right? That was just like the ultimate coolest thing in the world, right? It was called Games.
Okay.
It was in Mukilteo on the other. So our address was in Mukilteo, but I could walk over across this road to get to there. It took a little bit, but I walked. Anyway, it was really big. It was this repurposed warehouse, and it had multiple floors. It was humongous.
Like
it had
GameWorks?
It was kind of like that, yeah. It was that big for sure. GameWorks in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
They had pool tables. They had mini golf. They had all the ticket games and everything. But they had all the like newest fighting games out there as well, like all the coolest games. And they even had like a cafe where you get hot dogs and it was just and a whole line of pinball machines as well. Like he had everything.
Kid's dream.
This is the ultimate like arcade. Like it was the coolest place ever. I could still smell like the peach O's and the popcorn. It always takes me back. But we would take these. We'd have paper and pens, and we'd figure out something with Scorpion, like how to do the spear throw or something like that. Back low punch, right? Yep. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Is it still back low punch?
I think it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so back low punch, and we'd write it all down. So we'd have like the different moves for Scorpion, like the teleport punch move, that one, and then I think that's really all he had, right? For the first.
I think everyone had 4 set moves.
Oh, did he?
Like the basic ones. I think maybe more. To be honest with you,
for the original Mortal Kombat, I can only think of 2. I remember Mortal Kombat 2. He also had he had the leg takedown, which is like useless. But if you could do it on your buddy, he could like the scissor kick takedown, which is more like styling on people because it's hard to catch people with. But anyway, and they had he had like one fatality. Everybody had one fatality, I think. And we were writing all these things down, and then later when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, they did have a lot more moves that we figured out. And this is still before the internet and everything, and before magazine. Like this is before like any of these games came out, even on Super Nintendo or Genesis. Yeah. Like this is like way before that. So there wasn't like Nintendo Power talking about like the arcade moves and stuff like that. So we kind of figured it out for ourselves, and we had our little move list. And I didn't have a lot of money growing up, so what I ended up doing is I write down these things and I would sell them, right? So I'd start making.
You're hustling.
I'd hustle, dude. I'd hand write my own copies out. We didn't even have a printer, anything like that, or a computer. Computers, PCs didn't even come out really to the popular, to the general population or anything like that. So yeah. Anyways, we wrote them out and I sold them, and that's how I was able to get my go back after school and play games. And I'd come back to school and I'd sell them to some kid who didn't know that stuff. I don't know. One time I sold it for $5, and That was a lot of quarters,
Yeah,
man.
that's a lot of quarters.
I remember, like, the sound of the difference between you put a $1 in and just 4 quarters come out
Yep.
to the machine, and when you put a 5, it's like hitting the lottery. I thought, yeah, it's like a whole pile of quarters. Like, this is the coolest thing ever. So, and we got really good at like finding money on the ground as well. It's not like we walked around like hunting for it all the time, but we would casually, take a walk around, me and my buddies, and we'd find $1 or some quarters all laying all around because there's always
Wow.
Yeah,
All these
it's
kids just walking around with pockets full of change.
yeah, and it wasn't like a token place either. It wasn't like Chuck E. Cheese. It's like they were playing with real money.
So if you find a coin, you could use that for something in
Whatever.
real life if you wanted to too.
Yeah. So to this day, like I got like eagle eyes for money. I found $1.
Did you?
On Friday? Yeah.
What?
It
Just
was
on campus?
Yeah, on campus. Yeah, right by our building, right under a bench. Like, dude, under a
What?
bench in the shadow. I was like, ping! I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is Wazoo. They got
Yeah.
some money around here. How much is it? $20?
Yeah.
It's
And then
a
you're
dollar.
like, oh, $1.
Yeah.
And you're like, then you thought about it. You're like, I could probably turn these into 4 quarters.
Yeah,
Arcade,
yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
We have the arcade over in, there's arcade in Zeppos, and then there's arcade over in the mini golf, which
here
is
in
all
Portland.
right.
Yeah.
But they're still not to, this extent that, it makes me kind of upset because my generation, our arcade is GameWorks, and like GameWorks is really awesome. I love to go, but like
Yeah.
it was never to the extent that you guys had. Because right now our arcade is, in our living room.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because we have the ability to play online. But I just feel like it would have been cool to like been like, yo, let's go play Mortal Kombat for 2 hours and just see the competition.
Yeah.
Because I can go online and I can just go get my ass whooped, and then I don't, have to see the person in person. But I feel like it was a little more on the line when you put a quarter there, right?
Yeah.
And
There's
then
the
you're
whole
like-
experience
Yeah.
of it, right? To be there is so different, right?
Yeah. And then like I just love that about video games because again, whoa, that is not cool. There was a bug on my table. That kind of freaked me
Watch out.
there. Probably the heater baseboard. But no, video games in general. I'm going to ask you this because this is a big question I ask a lot of people, just in
up?
general. If you're on a deserted island,
Mm-hmm.
what 3 games would you bring and why? Because I know that's a lot of people get mad. They're like, dude, I can't.
Yeah. I'll
It's
try
so-
I'll try to answer it in earnest.
Yeah. So you
But it's
have
video games?
you have internet.
Nice.
Yeah, you get
What?
internet.
This is a luxurious deserted island.
Yeah, so you get it's pretty cool, and then you got your food and stuff. But
I'm set.
these are the only 3 games you get for let's say 3 years. You're out there.
Well, if I have internet, right?
I think you need to scoot up a little bit more.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
there you go.
Yeah. I got.
Sorry about that.
I have to lean back and think. Oh,
It's bringing you back. You're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
there you go.
Huh. Well, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking of a game. Like, if I only have 3 games, I want something with longevity and replayability, obviously. But I want something also where I can be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder. I don't have Minecraft right now, but I think maybe Minecraft because like I can just build and build and build and
Endlessly.
just endlessly be creative. I think that's a pretty awesome thing about that game. I mean, obviously it's also it's like the big hit before Fortnite to hit
It was
like
the big one.
the younger generation, I think.
My
But-
brother was really into it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get that into it or anything. My brother's friend's dad got a code, and my younger brother ended up getting that code somehow, and then he gave it to me for Xbox. So that's where I started playing. At first, I was like, I did not get this game. I just like dig to the bottom and like fell in love. I'm like, man,
I think that's a tip on there. That's like don't dig straight down too.
yeah,
With Minecraft, to sidetrack real quick, the owner of that game was so loaded at a time that he was in a bidding war for like $1 million, like a huge asset house, like has everything, like 3 pools, 4 stories, and like Rihanna,
ballin'.
Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, and I think Usher were like bidding on this house to get in LA.
Yeah.
And he just came in and just bought it outright.
he swooped it up.
Yeah, it has like a candy room in there. It's like
A candy room.
yeah, like he just came and just flexed on like Rihanna and all these people. Like,
Wow.
I mean, I get it. Like, that's cool, but damn, that just shows you how big Minecraft was at a time.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got Minecraft.
Right. Minecraft. And then I want to play like some sort of comfort game, like a game that I could always go back to.
Okay.
Something like I could just sort of walk through and just it's almost like a ceremony or something like that, where you just go through these motions and then you just kind of feel good at the end of it, right? So if there's one game like that, I think it would be A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo.
I've never played that one. You got to explain it a little more.
So this is like the first one of the early games that came out for Super Nintendo. Like this is like one of the main titles, like along with Super Mario World and Super Metroid. But it was made, so it's made by Nintendo, and it's a top-down Zelda where you I never thought I'd have to explain this. Yeah. I'm trying. Okay, I see it. So it's basically kind of like Breath of the Wild, where you run around and you explore and you find caves and stuff. And it's not an RPG or anything, but you find these items that'll allow you to get to different areas of the game. That'll unlock the areas of the game. So you'll beat a boss. You'll traverse like the upper ground, and then you'll find like a dungeon, and you go through the dungeon, and then you beat a boss. And usually when you beat a boss, you'll get a special item, right? So you go back to the upper world, and then there's this place that's been blocked off by little poles or something, or stakes, and so you'd have to go hammer them down. And now that you've hammered them down, you can walk through and open up a whole new area with different items and different stuff like that. And so you have this sort of progression that you have to go through in the right steps in order to beat it. And so as a kid, I played this game so many times and I beat it so many times. Like I could do it. We call it sequence breaking. So you have to follow a certain sequence to be able to beat the game. But you can sequence break it. And so usually, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. It's been a while since I played the game actually. But you can get one of the items without beating the boss. Or you could beat the first boss and get one of the items, and then you can get all the other items without beating the boss, like the key items. And then you can like get to the very end of the game without beating all the. I don't know. Anyway, it was a lot of fun to do the sequence breaking kind of thing, and I had it where I got like the gold sword, and I would come back to all the the early bosses, and I just cut. It was a hot knife through butter, right? So that was a lot of fun to get the best sword and just go back and just kill all the bosses, and then go beat the game.
I've done that in I think I played Resident Evil 5, where I had like the unlimited like gold shotgun, and I'd go back to like the first levels and just like obliterate whatever like was in like little minion thing I had to kill.
It's kind of fun, right?
Yeah,
because you figured it out, right? You kind of hacked the game where you got some special item to be able to do that.
Okay, so you got 1 and 2. What's your third one?
So I want it to be a competitive game.
Yeah,
where because the most interesting thing about a lot of games is playing with other people, right? Because they're the most interesting thing, interacting with other people. But if I'm on a deserted island, dude, I want to talk to somebody.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So I wonder, like maybe like Fortnite or Apex or something I want something that's gonna stay, where I can just like play with my friends and still chat with them, because I'm gonna get hella lonely, dude.
Yeah. 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, is it only 3 years?
Yeah, we changed it up 3 years when I was given the question.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, 3 years. That's a long time.
Yeah. So maybe I'm gonna hedge my bet. I'm gonna say no. I'm not gonna hedge my bet. I'm gonna go Apex Legends. And not Fortnite.
Okay. How come?
Fortnite is probably going to get more love and money and support, and there's going to have a lot more people playing. But I suck at third-person shooting games.
Oh, okay.
And I just can't play and completely just get demolished every time. In Apex, we can get some wins.
You can hold your own. Kind
of
thing.
I can hold my own, and so I'd rather have that. I mean, you could do Blackout for Black Ops, but
that one's pretty fun. I don't mind that one.
It is actually fun.
I'm waiting for Fortnite to do. I feel like there's an update going to come soon where they do a first-person mode, or like how GTA has that, where you can switch to it. But obviously, I don't think it will be to that extent. But Fortnite, that's their image, so they may never. They're like, why change it? It's not broken.
Well, then I wonder how the building mechanic would still be.
Oh, you're right.
Operable or whatever. But I hate the building mechanic, not because it's a bad idea. People are great at it, but I suck at it. I can't build.
It's so hard.
I look at somebody, they've built a fortress instantaneously, like a skyscraper just like is erected instantly. So I'm like, cool. Well, I'll build like one ramp
Yeah. And you're sitting there, and then your ramp's gone, and you're like, oh shit, I don't have any
and then
materials.
I'll like run and hide behind a tree.
I just like press B, and I just like move everything around, and then people are like, oh, you're good at building. I'm like, I'm not. I just know how to just spam B and RT just everywhere. But if it were up to me,
yeah.
Honestly, I hate to sound like I'm copying you, but Minecraft would be probably the first one I'd bring.
It's a good idea. I mean,
because it's endless.
Yeah.
And there's an opportunity. I mean, like, well, I could build a dream world. I could build a dream town, and it's so cool. I love that about Minecraft, and I've honestly put some hours into that game. It's fun, and me and my buddies play. We call this thing called the Colony, and say we split the two teams in half, and one team has to go off anywhere in the map and just build.
Okay.
But the thing is you kind of have to leave trails of where you are, like very, very faintly, like something like out of the ordinary, like a green block in the middle of a field, just to kind of know where because otherwise we could walk the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we do that, and then the other team comes to attack you, but you have a 2-day advance to get there, and it's just really cool how like we're like, fuck, where are these guys at? So that's Minecraft for me.
Do you build like traps and stuff?
Yeah, you can build traps.
You like Home Alone it?
Yeah, so you have one life, and if you die, you're done.
Okay.
And like the objective is to get to kill the other team.
Yeah.
And most of my buddies know how to mine and stuff, so they'll have diamond armor, and I have like a wood axe. I'm not that good. I'll have I'll get one a diamond like maybe 10 days in, but they're already like a day in and have all this good armor.
Wow.
But so Minecraft would definitely be number one.
Okay.
And honestly, for nostalgic factors, I'd probably bring Luigi's Mansion in, because that's one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay.
Just
all right, with the ghost vacuum?
Yeah, the ghost vacuum one. It was really like, it's nostalgic to me, and it's one of those games like how you said, I got to have a comfort game where I just feel good every time. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But honestly, 3 years, it probably no, I keep Luigi's Mansion. I was going to put Super Mario Sunshine in, but I think I like Luigi's Mansion a little bit more.
Okay.
And maybe I'll play that game when it gets nighttime on the island there.
Okay.
And then
if you use all three, then no, I'm joking.
The third one, man, I probably have to go Destiny, man. I love that game.
Going Destiny.
I'm surprised I didn't put Mortal Kombat over it, but I feel like there's a little more to Destiny. Mm-hmm. And there's also the aspect of raids where there's a team of 6, and that gives me the communication with other people. Luigi's Mansion ain't online, and then Minecraft is online, but not a lot of my friends will play online. So I'd probably go Destiny. Mm-hmm. But what irks me is I want to put Red Dead Redemption 2 or Red Dead Redemption or GTA, because those games are endless too. Mm. But Red Dead Redemption I didn't get.
Yeah,
and
I didn't get it either.
I was really hyping it up. I was really excited, and then I just saw it. It was like, this may sound weird, but it was almost too realistic for me. Like it was almost like, oh, you got to tame your horse, you got to feed your horse, and you got to like, brush it to ride it. And I'm like, dude, like, I just want to jump on the horse and shoot people. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to have to like feed them.
Press R1 to blink your eyes. Your eyes are getting dry.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's
press
getting to.
O to There's this really, you should play. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's this game called QWOP. Mm-hmm. Like
with a Q?
QOP. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, QOP.
Okay. Wrote it down.
And it's like this racing game, and you're just this character, and you're trying to get to the end of the track or the racetrack, but you have to control like all these limbs. It's really awkward, like the knee and you always fall off balance or you fall back. It's ridiculous. It's made I think it's made by this guy named Bennett Foddy, who's a Australian game design professor. Awesomeness, and he's also made this really awesome game. Oh man, it's Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
Getting Over It.
Yeah, and it's with Bennett Foddy. That's his. And so I think he took all these like free assets, and he like built this game where you're this dude in like a cauldron, and so so like your torso is kind of popping out of a cauldron, and your arms are out, your legs are just in it, right? And the only way you can move is like you're controlling these arms that are holding a sledgehammer.
Huh.
And it's super awkward, like to do with a mouse, and you just like kind of pick yourself up and you push it. and you have to like get over all these obstacles, right? You're getting over it, right? And it's really difficult for me. Like I haven't gotten very far in it really. And then you can easily get set back and just like fall back all the way back to the very bottom or the beginning of the game.
What?
And it's so hard and so awkward and frustrating. And like as you fall down, like he'll like it's that the guy game designer's voice. He'll like read a famous quote about like you know, about trying or something hard or like or failure or something
Just
like
to
that. You know,
piss you off in a way.
yeah, it's
Motivate you maybe.
or motivate you. Yeah, I've seen people get pretty far on it, and I'm just it's a. When people come to my house, I like to have them play it. I'm like, oh, do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play some games. Come over to my place. You know, I'll have to have you over.
Yeah.
Well, but now I gave it away though what it is.
Yeah.
How frustrating. Like, no, I'm good. I'll stay here. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's just what you reminded me of that though.
That's
with,
those are.
for
I always
Red
have games
Dead.
like that.
I went on a big tangent.
You ever played? No, feel free. Have you ever played the new game Cuphead?
No,
It's
I've
actually
seen it,
really
for sure.
fun. I have it on my Xbox. It's one of those games like how you have that game. I'm like, just try it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, this is fun. It's gonna be easy. It's really fucking hard. Like,
Yeah,
they
I've
made
heard
it hard
it's
on
really hard.
purpose. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like, why is this so hard? But then like you're into it and like you're trying not to die. Me and my buddies played it. But speaking of that, you know, competitively, games have been something that I've always been part of because I like to do like MOG, Major League Gaming. I did game battles and stuff on Call of Duty, and like we would like get super into it with our
Okay.
headsets and everything.
Okay, well, tell me how this works. So I've never done
Yeah.
anything like that. That's not my
Okay.
era of competitive gaming. So how did you? Okay, so now I'm going to
Yeah.
interview you. Know. So
Yeah.
how did you get into it first? Like, how do you start it? How do you connect to it? Like, how do you create an online account?
Yep.
And
Okay.
then you have to pay money, and like you know you create a PayPal account. Like, how does it know that you're on your Xbox? Like, this is all
New
to me. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, you pick a game that you like. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
use Modern Warfare 2 because that's the game we.
I love Modern Warfare 2.
That's my favorite Call of Duty of
Yeah.
all time. And so you pick Call of Duty 2 or Modern Warfare 2. And then you go to GameBattles.com and you're like, all right, let's make a team. So Sammy and you made a team. So
Yeah.
Dom and Tony make a Modern Warfare 2 team.
Yeah.
And there's a ladder. So there's 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4s, and then there's, I think, 6v6s.
So we could choose from
Yeah.
those different ones?
Yeah. So it's like, say we had another buddy. Say your wife
Yeah.
wanted to play. We'd do 3v3. We'd do the ladder.
Oh, I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
Maybe
so then,
if it's Gears of War, because she's good at Gears of War.
we
but
could
Call
probably
of
bring
Duty-
her like a Gears of War ladder. But then, so say we go on the 2v2 one, and then we choose our like what side of the country we're on, and so like you got to choose the north side because then the time zone, so the timing's right.
Oh.
So like
huh.
we post
Or the-
and say
or the
you
west
really
side.
say you really like Search and Destroy, or say you really like Sabotage or Team
Mhm.
Deathmatch.
Mhm.
We go, okay, we want to play Search and Destroy.
Yeah.
And then you have to follow the rules that are next to it. It's like you have to have the timer set to 7.5, 7.5, and all these rules.
Mm.
And then we post online and say, hey, we want to play at 7 o'clock right tonight.
Okay.
And then someone goes, and it usually would be instantaneously.
Huh.
Someone would be like, oh shit, that's a Search and Destroy game. We're going to want to play. So they
Yeah.
accept it.
Like
and then,
S&D. Here
and
we
then it
go.
would like put us into a thing. And then you'd be like, all right, so
So you're playing on PC then?
no, this is just on the website.
Okay.
So then say the guy's gamer tag is Tony123.
Yeah.
And mine's Dom123. These guys are like Bomber and Jack or whatever. We got to
Sure.
put their gamer tags in our Xbox and invite them to a game.
Okay.
So we go to a private match and then we play
Yeah,
best
yeah.
of 3.
Yeah. Rust.
Yeah.
No.
best of-
On Rust.
and honestly, that's the thing. But if you could pay money to
Yeah.
choose your maps, and that's the catch. Like, so you could have MLG Premium where you can kind of get an
Right.
edge. So say we paid like $5 for our team.
Yeah.
We can choose game one's map. So we have that little edge.
Okay.
But you know, obviously, if you don't pay, it's just a randomized map. But they
Okay.
have like the 6 MLG maps that was high rise, high rise,
Okay. They're limited
invasion,
choices.
quarry, like all these like nice ones. Like Rust is
Yeah.
on there if you don't put MLG maps, and some people
Right.
forget to put MLG maps, and we'll get Rust, and it's just like
The worst thing ever.
anyone
It's
can win.
just- yeah.
If
Right.
there's no skill, there's no tactic at Rust, and if anyone who says there is, they're lying.
For those who don't know what this map is, it's a very, very tiny little map, and then as soon as you kill somebody, they can spawn like right behind you anytime and just shoot you in the back. There's no,
Yeah, think of it like a playground, like a little kid's playground. That's
Yes.
basically what
Yes.
you're with big guns.
Yeah.
So say we play these 2 guys and we
Okay.
win 2 out of the 3 games. We automatically go and then we report on the website we win.
Yeah.
We won 2 and they won 1.
Uh-huh.
But here's the common thing
What
that people do.
happens?
They dispute and they're like, we won.
Yeah.
And then
See, this is what I need to figure. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do they regulate this?
Yeah, they're like, we won.
Uh-huh.
And then you're like, so say, nowadays you have recorders on your Xbox, but Xbox 360, you would have to have a capture card, or you would have to take a picture of it and post it to the thing. So like, say they did dispute, and we're like, fuck these guys, but we have proof, and we took pictures of it on our phones. We send it into the higher ups, and they get to it pretty quick, like within 2 hours, and they say, oh, they're banned now. They can't compete.
They can't play.
And then it's on your record, and then so say we win, now we're ranked. So now like you could make front page. So say Tony and Dom are 16-0 right now on Modern Warfare 2 ladders. You're like on the first page, and like you have this like you're famous, and then there's people like, oh fuck these guys aren't that good. They've only played no name ranks, and then you'll get
scrubs.
You'll get some guys who are like, yo, we want to play. Yeah. And then they'll just run you. Like we've played guys who are like 92-0. Yeah. And like it gets to the point.
Optic Gaming is
gonna
come
like
in
Optic
and shut you down.
They come in, and then you're like, oh cool, we got a game. And then you look at who you're playing, and the guys are ranked like 800th in the world, and you're like, we're gonna get ran. And like you look at our ranks, we're 232,000 or something. But that's MOG.
But do you make money or doing this or no? I know there's like a betting site. Is that not this one? Or is this different?
There's tournaments where you put money down. You're like, all right, here's $20 to get in, but you also have to be invited in. So like, say you have to almost be top first page to get just even considered, because there's a lot of teams who are on front page that kind of rig it, where they tell their friends, yo, just give us a game and give us the win. Yeah. And it's really like sketchy. So like a lot of the first team guys won't get invited unless it's against like official teams. Okay. And but it was super fun, and I loved it. And it got to the point, to go back, skip down a little bit to one of the questions I have. That's probably one of the most upset I've ever been. Like it's gone to a point where it's gone 3-3. I'm the last guy alive. All I gotta do is win. We get our last first dub of the night, and I just choke, or my batteries die, or a leg. And there's people with lag switches, and there's all the...
Oh, I remember lag switches, man. God. People used to lag switch even on Dark Souls.
What?
Like why would you even... There's a lot of cheaters.
I just don't get it. It makes me so frustrated. I think lag is probably the number one thing I get upset about, because then people think they're like so much better than me, but I'm like, if it just had good connection.
Right. Well, who knows, right? Maybe
who knows? It could
have been a skill thing, but it's like when there's always that like ambiguity there, you can be like, oh, if my internet didn't jump or spike or whatever, That's why I like the arcade days back in the day. I will always prefer, like, if I'm playing competitively, like I'd rather have like
a LAN game,
or like playing on an arcade system where they're connected like that. And one thing that disappointed me about Tekken is that, the arcade version of Tekken. So we in the States, we only get the Tekken games for consoles now, right? But if you go back to Korea or Japan, they still have arcades, and they still have the big arcade machines, right? And so the Tekkens will come out maybe a couple years before So Tekken 7 came out like a couple years in the arcades before it even came out in the console. Okay. And it had multiple updates or whatever it is, like the big anyway, so there's this update, but the Tekken 7, when I went back to Korea 3 years ago, I visited, and all the arcade games are actually online now. Like it's a whole network in Korea where you can play anybody anywhere. But there's that still. So now they've introduced like lag. It's really fast internet in Korea, like really good.
Tell everyone who hasn't been to Korea how much faster the internet is there, real quick.
Oh, it's just like it's just like a gigabit fiber, really. Like, and I had that when I had that back when I was in, like, before I left, like 2011. I could download like a 2 gigabyte movie for in like seconds, right? So like boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom,
you have Step Brothers.
Season 1 of Game of Thrones.
What? If that's a dream.
Something like that.
Like it takes me a whole day to download a 20 gigabyte game on my Xbox.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, right? So I'm like coming back to the States after I moved. I lived in Korea for about 6 years teaching English over there, and of course I was playing games online, and I was playing Modern Warfare 2, and I was playing Gears of War and all these other games online, and it was just awesome. And then I come here and I'm like, oh my god, this is just not, because I never really played online gaming until I was in Korea, right? I never really played it in America that much or anything, and so I was really disappointed.
So tell me about, because we talked about this personally. Yeah. The Tekken vibe, and how there's like a Tekken arcade right next to you.
Oh, or where I used to live.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. So I'll back up a little bit further until I get to that point.
Okay.
So when I was like, I'll start way back in the day.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
You might
Here's
gotta
my
scoot
Tekken story.
scoot in a little bit more. There you go.
Okay, story time.
Make sure people hear this one.
All right, so back to games, that arcade that I used to play at when I was a kid. Our games, when I first started playing it, like Street Fighter 2 had just come out, and that shit was good. That was like the coolest thing ever, right? So getting good at playing Ken, getting those sort of cheap combos, or just learning the footsie games, all this kind of stuff, was just awesome. I loved it. This, when I first saw it, it was just the coolest thing ever. And then Mortal Kombat came out, and they had some other arcade games that were kind of on the side that weren't that popular. Like Primal Rage, which is like dinosaurs fighting each other, super bloody as well.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, everybody started making a lot of like ultra violent games after like Mortal Kombat became famous. And there's another one called Time Killers, I think, where you could actually like, have you ever seen Monty Python's what is it, Holy Grail movie?
I don't think I have seen that one.
Well, there's this part, it's a really funny part of this game, or the movie, where there's just like two knights are fighting, and like one guy like chops an arm off. He's still fighting though. Like the other guy's like, oh, it's just a scratch, just a flesh wound or something like that, right? And he chops his. Anyway, by the time he's like he has no limbs at all, and he's like trying to bite him or whatever. In Time Killers, you could like chop each other's arms off, and you'd still be fighting
with like limbs.
Yeah, the limb would fall down, and then like you'd still have like one arm with a knife, and you'd still be like trying to kill him with that. And if you do like a special move, you could actually like end the match by just like chopping their head. If like you land this move, like you would like,
it's like a nuke.
Yeah, it's like a free nuke move. Like if you can actually hit it, like I remember this chainsaw guy, you could like do this spin attack, and it would just like chop the dude's head off. Game over. Boom.
Oh,
it's like instant game over. Like you took their money. But anyways, like Tekken though, I didn't play Tekken, so at that point Tekken 2 was out, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like this cool adults game, like older people game. But then they had this tournament for Tekken 2 that was coming up at games, and they didn't have a tournament for any other ones at that time. We had a Mortal Kombat 2, but there's nothing else happening, and I'm like, oh man, I love tournaments. I entered into all of them, right? I won the Mortal Kombat 2 one.
Who were you when you won it?
Scorpion. Easy, dude.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Jump over him, drop kick him, do the teleport attack, pop him, and then catch him in the air with a spear, and then uppercut him. Like this kind of shit. Like I would just
got down to a science at that point.
Down to a science, man. I would just trash people. I could play that game one-handed. With anyways. Tekken was this thing, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to play Tekken, and I'm gonna get good at this one. I'm gonna see if I can compete, and nobody believes me, but there's this other guy who would come in and play, and he was this Japanese dude. Like he didn't speak a lot of English or anything, right? And so and he was really good, and he'd show me how to play. Like I didn't get it, like I remember him telling me, he goes, this is how it works. He was just like, he didn't really say it, so he'd push the button to left punch. And then he'd say, look at here. So left punch, and he'd show his left arm. He'd be like, hey, man, left, right? Mm-hmm. And then he'd go right. And he showed me this button connects to the right arm. Left leg, right. So there's four buttons. It's like a limb fighting game. Left, right, left punch, left kick, right kick. And the joystick, right? And so he sort of showed me that. Then I remember him showing me how to do throws. And then he'd show me some moves with different characters, and like they were super cool, like really interesting characters. Like Yoshimitsu was this like weird alien ninja thing from Japan. Yeah. And then he had Paul with his gigantic like hairdo, like
his flat top thing.
Yeah, and it was really weird. Oh yeah, Virtua Fighter was another game though that was out, so it was kind of like I played that one as well, and that one didn't really get as popular as the other ones as well. There's another tangential one, I guess. But anyway,
so your sensei trains you.
My sensei trains me. This is one of the other 3D games. So Virtua is a 3D. It's like this sort of 3D fighting game where you can sidestep. He had this. I literally had like this sensei, like a Japanese
like
guy.
A video game sensei.
Yeah, man. And so I got pretty good. I really loved it. And I learned this. I learned this really cheap move, right? So when you knock them down, like they're flat on their back, right? Yeah. And oftentimes people, when they get up, you're on the offense and they're vulnerable, like so you can mix it up. You can even do a high attack or a low attack, and they have to guess, or a throw, right? Which you could break. So if I do a throw, and they time it right, they can break it. Anyway, so make a long story short, I enter the tournament, and I got to my buddy, my sensei, and he let me win.
Okay.
And then it came down to me and this really tall white dude. So,
how old was
he? He must have been like 18 or 20 or something like that. I remember him, to me, like towering above me. Like I'm like an 8th grader, right? You know, like this gigantic white dude with this look like a Viking.
Yeah.
And anyways, like he was good, right? But I really quickly realized that he didn't know how to throw break.
Oh.
So what I did over and over, this is really cheap, and I probably shouldn't admit it where other people could hear me, but I would go and I would throw him over and over and over and over. He would get up. Yeah, he was so frustrated that he walked off in the middle of like the last match. He just walked off, and I got first place in like this. So, and he didn't even get his second place, whatever.
He
just
it was. Walked out. He was pissed. I
Yeah.
lost to an 8th grader, man.
Yeah, and I was like, man, it was a cheap win, but I did it. I was like, I did it.
Well, that's his fault for not being ready.
Right.
It's in the game.
It was in the game. Yeah. And
So would you win?
I don't know, like
Pizza or?
no, it was actually for money, so money was on the line. I think everybody put in like $5 or something like that.
What?
So I got the number 1 pool or prize, whatever it was, and then like it was like number 2 and number 3. So I didn't get number 2, even though he walked away. I don't know what they did with the money.
Oh, pocketed it, huh?
Yeah.
I'm joking.
I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. Like it must have been like, you know, I don't know how many people, like 10 people joined in or something like that. But like to me, I just won the lottery again. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
man, like I remember $5 being a lot of money when the Sound of Quarters coming out. You know, whatever it was, like $30 or something like that. That was incredible.
Did you guys have fans like watching, or was it just kind of just
No,
you
just
10?
my buddy.
Oh, okay. Just like kind of us in Moscow when we went to the Smash tourney. Me and Tony actually went to a gaming tournament, a Super Smash Bros. Tournament in Moscow.
Dude, at a Walmart.
It was in the middle of a Walmart. We get there early. We're like, oh, you know, we walk over to the game section. Oh, it's not started yet. They're like, oh no, it's over in the men's department. And then we go to the men's department, and there's like 60 people in like where you could buy underwear.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we were playing, and we did one round, and then we bounced, but there was so many people
lost.
there.
You won.
Yeah, I ended up winning.
He won his round.
I won my round. I had one good guy in my game. The other 2 guys were kind of like, oh, these guys. But you were there though. You were in Cineroar, and you basically won, but you fell off.
Oh no, I played Marth.
Marth, that's what it was, and you fell off.
I should have played Incineroar though, man. I'm not very good at Smash.
Dude, people are really good. I have a buddy Brian who's super good, and then all my guys who live at the house that I'm moving into, they're all super good at Super Smash Bros. And it's like makes me want to be better. So maybe that's why I had that little competitive edge against those guys in there.
Yeah, but, you're not bad. I remember we played it in the Native Center too. Yeah. And I was like, dang, this guy just kind of rolling over us, dude. What's going on? He knows how. Where do you learn how to play Smash?
Yeah, and then we even have all the GameCube controllers and the adapter and everything, and we sit there for hours and play. So that's the reason why I'm all right at it. But Mortal Kombat, going back into the older days.
I was gonna talk about the story, man.
There's no rating. There was no rating before that. So let me know about the Mortal Kombat thing back then. Like before the ratings, like games weren't rated back then. There's no R, there's no T or M. I mean, not R.
Yeah, all that stuff, right? Yeah, I was. I gotta get back to my Tekken stuff.
Oh yeah,
when I get to Korea.
Yeah, we'll get back to. Well, actually,
which one do you?
Let's go to Korea now.
Okay, let's go to Korea. All right, so I did play Tekken, and I got pretty good at it, and then like Tekken 3 came out, and then it was a lot of fun, and then later it came on PlayStation, so we get to play it at home. That was really cool stuff. And then Tekken Tag came out, and around that time, you know, I was in high school and stuff, and I was like, my interest in video games was kind of waning. You know, girls were more interesting or whatever, you know, or getting into trouble, all that kind of stuff. But I remember though, like there's this kid that really took me to the cleaners in Tekken. I remember his name. His name was Eddie. And he was this Filipino kid, like a middle schooler. So it was like it came full circle, right? Yeah. Like as like an older kid, I got just thrashed by a middle schooler. He ended up like getting into like I think he ended up getting like the regional Tekken like of the national tournament that ended up happening. Like that's pretty awesome. But he just thrashed me. I was like, man, he was trying to show me how to play. Like he played Baek Doosan. He was like just literally like dancing circles around me with this. He could do like a double side step, all this crazy stuff. But and then I stopped playing, but so much, you know, I had it, you know, just to mess around. And then when I went to Korea, you know, and then the arcade culture after that pretty much died. Like whenever Tekken Tag was like the last remnants of like sometime in the late 90s or something like that. But and then it went away, which was pretty disappointing to find out. But then I ended up, going to Korea and moving to Korea to teach English, and I realized I didn't even know this, like that arcade culture was still alive
Yeah.
in different countries. I'm like, whoa, dude,
Yeah.
this is like awesome. And there was like dudes my age playing too. I'm like, oh, this is like what would happen if
You're not like the weird old guy over
I'm
there.
not
You're-
no, dude. I'm not. I was of the same age. I mean, when I got out there, I was like 25, but still, um, there was a guy, and they showed me how to play. So I think I can't remember which Tekken it was. Like it was like Tekken 5 or Tekken 6. So back in like 2000, back in 2006 is when I first got there, and I was playing in this in near Yonsei University in Seoul.
Mhm.
And I met this guy, and he's like, "Oh, he couldn't speak English at all." So we were playing again. I had a sensei again.
you
And
just
he-
find these
Yeah, dude.
video game senses.
And he was really good, right? This guy was a really good player, right? And I remember him. We're playing Brian, and he showed me that you could delay the third punch in the combo. You can go left, right, and then wait, pause, and then push punch. So it's boom, boom. Because I was just playing aggressive. I was just used to playing him aggressive, like boom, boom, boom. But he said you could do this, and you can kind of mix him up a little bit. They thought, oh, he's not going to punch, and I'm going to try to do something. You counter hit him, and then you can do a follow-up combo and all this kind of stuff. I had no idea. I'm like, he just really updated me to like, I didn't even know that Korea had was world famous for their Tekken players or anything like that at all. I was just like learning with this guy. But this isn't when I lived right next to the big arcade. So this is when I first got to Korea, right? So I spent about 6 years there. And then eventually I met my wife. We got married, and we got a place together on our own. And that was in Seoul, in this place called Daerim Samdong, which is really near, it turns out, the Green Arcade, which was just this apparently world famous arcade where there's only Tekken games in there, Tekken machines. But I had no idea, so I was walking around in our neighborhood and just checking it out. Never lived there in my life. And I said, oh, well, or Kate's like, hey, there's an arcade right here. And I looked up, and it's called, Green Arcade. And I go, oh yeah, let's go check it out. And then I walk in, and I'm like, it looks like an apartment building, right? So you're walking up these stairs of this kind of like an old, kind of poor, like one of these older like 70s or 80s, like
like a movie. Like it almost looks like a movie.
not like a no.
No?
It was kind of crusty.
Oh,
really.
ghetto
I was like,
looking?
It's kind of dirty place. Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I don't think I know the right place. And it had like a door. It was closed, and I saw a poster in the hallway or something like that. I'm like, really? Is this where it is? Like, I don't see any arcade. And then and I'm like, oh, it's probably closed. She goes, just go open the door. I'm like, I don't know. And then I open the door, and it's like this Shangri-La, dude. Of like, it's like this oasis of like this whole giant room with just wall to wall of Tekken machines, like all the newest
Tekkens.
Tekkens. Like the new one. Like this is like where everybody was like. I was like, what is this place? And I'm like, okay, I'll play a few games. And I remember there's this older lady. Like if you want to get quarters, you give them your money, and they'll get it for you. There's no machine, right? So they just have like stacks of 100 coins. Is what 100 won. $1 was like worth 1,000 won. So you get like 10. And then anyway, so I can't remember how many you'd have to put into play, like 2 or something like that. Not that many. There's only like 20 cents to play on the arcade. So anyways, you'd sit down. I sat down, like it was full too. I was like, what? This is crazy. And then I'll sit down and play. And because I had been playing up until this point, like for the 6 years, just kind of for fun at the arcades and stuff like that. Met some buddies, kept getting good. I thought it was all right, you know. And I just got crushed, completely crushed. I've never gotten so crushed so bad in my life playing
Demoralizing.
Tekken. It was demoralizing, right? And I was like, man, I ain't never going there. Again, but I did. I ended up going back, and then I remember the old lady would bring us coffee and stuff, like little mixed coffees, and we sit down and have our quarters, and we play. And I'd try to hold my own. I just got beat up over and over and over and over and over until I remember that one time I finally won in the Green Tekken. I don't know. I can't remember what character. It was like Elisa or something like that. I played Elisa in Armor King. I guess in Tekken 7 is Tekken 6 is when that was out, I think. Tekken 6. So anyways, it was pretty well earned win, I think, for that. But Yeah. And then later, I didn't know it was like world famous or anything. It was like a big deal or who was playing there. But later I remember because video games is a lot bigger in Korea. I remember though like my wife showing me like, hey Tony, there's like a channel with Tekken playing on. It's like there's a show called Tekken Crash, and I'm like, what, the Tekken Crash? So I started watching this a lot, you know, like watching the tournaments. I'm like, wait a second, I've seen these guys before. Yeah. They played at the Green Arcade. I'm like, those guys are really good. Okay, I get it now. Why I was getting my ass kicked so hard. Like I was playing like the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
the creme de la creme, you know.
So you're like,
Tekken
you
players.
Feel better, like,
okay, I feel a little bit better. Yeah. And so, you know, then I'm like, okay, this is the top, right? So I could go in there and be like, I'm okay to lose. And if I get a win, then I get a win, you know? And one time I got, you know, I started getting a couple wins in a row and stuff. But then what they would do is they were looking, because I was the only foreigner that was coming in there at that time, I'm pretty sure. And they'd be like, they weren't all like, you know, kumbaya or nothing like that over there. Like they were, you know, the real deal. They come in, if they see this foreigner like this Wegu can come in and start winning, you know, they'll line up to beat me up. They'll line up to kick my ass, dude. So I remember, like, everybody would start watching, or they'd be like, wow, he's holding his own for a couple matches. Then somebody would come, you know, one of the people, like the third person in the line, would just cream me. And, and everybody like, they all go back to their games, you know. And,
you're all, fuck.
Yeah.
2 in a row today.
Yeah. One, you know, I got into the zone for like 1 or 2 games, you know, and that was about it.
That's the thing that like people are like, oh, yeah, finish him.
Yeah,
they like put their hand on his shoulder, do it. You know,
just put him out of his misery.
They're all just make it happen. Just all dramatic.
Yeah.
But no, I remember you told me one other story that I would love if you shared.
Yeah.
When there was like a mob guy, like there's like a gang, and then you were telling me there was like a gang at the arcade.
Yeah. So okay. So my mom. Oh my God! Please don't listen to this podcast, Kate. My wife, the mom wife. Thank God.
They'll listen to it.
Edit that out. No.
Yeah.
So my wife's hometown is Ansan, Korea, right? So there's this little arcade in downtown Jungangdong, Ansan, where this, I think it's called Fun and Games or something like that. Anyways, so we would play there. That was my arcade back in the day. I lived there for a couple years, and we played with my buddies and stuff. And then one day, none of my buddies were there. It was like in an odd time. I came in like early. I was gonna go meet somebody or something like that, or a little bit later. I was like, oh, I'll get a couple hours in. Anyway, so this guy like wearing this like big, like he looked like a Yakuza guy.
Yeah.
So like this big Yakuza looking dude with this like big silk shirt, like tiger print, you know, walks in and
like
he
owns the place.
Yeah, like he owns a place, walking like he owns a place, and he had this like a bunch of group of guys. I'm like, whoa, this is like out of a movie, right?
Yeah.
Like who is this guy? And then, you know, they sat down. He sat down, and then all of his goons, you know, lined up all the quarters. There were quarters so like,
for him.
Yeah, to play against him.
Yeah.
So he didn't put any himself, right? So they made it so basically, it's funny that they operate on these rules like these gangsters. Like they still like line up the quarters like
like their kids.
Like their kids, yeah, exactly. And so I couldn't play against them. So I was like, I'd be playing next to him, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, these guys aren't that good, like, or he's not that good, right? And why are they losing to him? You know, he's kind of he's like a button masher, with Eddie or something like that. I was like, what is this? You know,
this guy's kind of a noob.
Yeah. Anyways, and they kept losing. I was like, man, I wish I could play this guy. But I started, you know, I was kind of slow about it, I guess. I'm like, maybe he's like this gangster or something like that, you know. I thought he was like acting like he was a gangster or something. But anyways, I tell the story to one of my buddies later, and they're like, oh yeah, dude, like there's gangsters, like it's owned by gangsters or something like that, and it's actually the gangster's wife who owns it, and so he like just lets her run it, and every once in a while he'll be like the big boss and walk in and just like play some arcade. I don't know. Yeah. So it was kind of a shady operation, it turns out. Yeah.
So you walked in and you saw a gang playing.
Yeah. Yeah. The gang boss, the big boss. Yeah.
That's pretty entertaining, man. I don't know, like I don't know what I would think. I'd be like, man, I gotta beat this guy, but then at the same time, like, what if you lose? This guy could, you know, you could vanish maybe.
Yeah. Like I can't. I'm waiting for them to move the quarters so I can get a space to put mine in or something like that.
And they look at you, this foreigner guy, man.
Yeah, they'll take the coin and like throw it across the road, like what the room or something like that. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Get out of here.
Yeah. So Tekken, for a lot of people who don't know what Tekken is, what would you explain it to them? Like, dumb it down for what Tekken is.
It's just like a fighting, like a one versus. It's like you versus another player, and so you pick your character, they pick their character, and then you duke it out. And there's, special moves and combos and stuff like that you can just use. So you have to have really fast reaction skills. If they're gonna throw a high punch, you have to duck it and then like counterattack, and all in real time. It's a very Twitch based game. Yeah.
When was the last time you played it?
Today
you played before you came over?
Yeah, so check this out. I'm going to Korea in May. This is
warming up.
okay, so I'm warming up, but check this out, right?
Yeah.
My wife's like, did you know like the first week we're going to be back in Korea, there's this gaming convention that's going to be happening, right? It's
like right near you?
Oh, not too. It's like an hour away from like Onsan, which is where we're going. To be with their family and all that, and I'm like, that'd be a lot of fun, to go check it out, see all the new Korean games. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it is like the E3 or something like that in Korea. And I was like, that's cool. And then she goes, oh, by the way, and like the next day she goes, I was doing a little, looking online and stuff, and there's actually going to be a Tekken tournament happening that like on one of those days. I'm like, what? Like I thought it was like an exhibition tournament or something like that. I'm like, that's cool. I'd love to go check it out.
Yeah.
And see who's playing, like the big world renowned players like Knee or Lowhigh or Saint and all, or all these newer guys. I don't know what their names are. I'm not super hip with all the new guys, but anyway, I was like, that's pretty cool. She goes, you should register. You could just do it for fun or whatever. I'm like, it's only like $25. I'm like, 25? All right. Well, I don't know how to do it. Maybe if you register for me in Korean or something like that.
Yeah.
And anyways, no, you could do it. You could do it online. I'm like, all right, fine. So just yesterday, I was like, all right, I'll look at it. And so it was really easy to register. You have to create an account, and it's called, what's it called? ROXN, Roll, ROLL.
Okay.
That's the tournament. And it's part of this like big Tekken World Tour or something like that. So it's going to be... Anyways, I registered for it. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Do you know your time and when you play everything?
No. Like, I don't know. But I looked at the roster of all the people who are playing. Yeah, Knee is in it. Like all these really big players.
You're like, I hope I don't get him first game right off the bat.
Oh, dude, I would be honored.
Really?
Would you? Honored to get my ass whooped by Knee. Sure, dude, because I don't know. Like, I haven't played for a really long time. Like, I haven't even,
Get to meet him and everything.
Yeah, it would be cool to get to meet him where he's probably not even saying anything to me. But anyways, or like this other guy, I don't know, his big Elisa player. What's his name? Oh, Chanel or whatever. Chanel. He's in it. I don't know. It would be cool to be able to, rub elbows with them, in Korea and say, hey, I was there. I got to do it. But I started playing again, and I just started warming up yesterday, and I'm like, I don't even know what character to play. Is it Armor King or is it Elisa? This is like 20, 30 different characters that you could play with, and I'm like not very good with all.
Yeah.
And so I realized like I played a few of them, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do anything. I can't even remember. I can't even get a combo going with this guy and that guy. Anyway, so I'm going with Armor King for now.
Armor King.
Yeah, he's kind of like this wrestler guy. He's like, he got a luchador mask on, big tiger luchador mask.
You gotta let me know how it goes when you're over there. Yeah. Send me a message or something.
Dude,
be like,
I want to like last like at least
a round or two.
I want to get a one round in.
Yeah.
That's my goal because I've been playing people online right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting whooped.
You're getting whooped?
Yeah, I'm playing. Yeah.
You're on the plane playing or something.
But I'm winning. I'm winning some.
Yeah.
I'm winning some. I'm getting some good rounds. Getting some good matches.
Speaking of fighting games, Mortal Kombat gets released in 2 days.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, bring it on, man.
Yeah.
Bring it on. I'll play it.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I can't. There's
it's
think
coming out on Switch too.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. I was like, what?
What? I know that all the robots got announced. Sector and Cyrax. I like those guys a lot.
Yeah.
My favorite's probably. I really liked Nightwolf just because I'm native.
Yeah.
But if it were for my life, I'd probably pick. God, who would I pick? Oh, it's Katana. That's who I like, and I kind of had like a huge crush, and I still have a huge crush on Katana. But yeah, I would probably use Katana as my main. But Noob Saibot was cool. My brother loved to use him.
Yeah.
But
Smoke
was really cool. I like Smoke in the robot form.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
There was a Smoke in robot form.
Yeah, that's the one I like. And there's also the ninja form now.
Yeah, there was. I think originally the original was a ninja form. It was like a secret character that you can get to. Like, I think it was number 2.
Yeah.
I think if you in the haunted forest, and if it said Ed Boon's head popped out and said whoopsie,
Yeah.
you could push like up and start, or just push start or something like that, and it would like instantly transport you to fight smoke or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
That tipsy thing is hella funny, or whoopsie, or whatever he
whoopsie,
says.
yeah, whoopsie. It'll randomly pop up when you uppercuts. That game was crazy. I loved how crazy that game was. It just had the weirdest shit in it.
Was it so? It was
fun.
It was revolutionary because, like you said, to bring it back to what we were talking about, the ratings. It was the first.
Ratings.
It was the first game for parents to be like, oh shit, we probably shouldn't let our kids play this game.
Well, there's a lot of game. I mean, there was ratings before, and there were bloody games, and they, there's, I guess PC had it, Arcade had their own thing, but there was like no like universal rating system. And so like if the big scare happened, like Mortal Kombat was like this big ultra violent game, gory, over the top, blood splattering everywhere, and games cause violence. So this controversy has been going on for a really long time, but like that was one of the games that really I guess sparked the debate again.
Mm-hmm.
And so some senator was like, well, if you guys aren't going to self-regulate your industry,
a senator too.
Yeah, if you don't self-regulate your industry, we're going to create like our own federal regulations.
Yeah.
So all the like Nintendo and everybody else sort of got together. They're like, okay, let's come up with a rating system that we can apply to. So we don't want to get like dinged. We don't want the feds on our ass, or something like that. So I guess they came up with something called the ESRB.
Yeah.
Which became the ESRB. I think it was something, and then it went over to another thing. But yeah, that's what kicked it off. That particular iteration of it.
I know.
System.
My mom for the longest time wouldn't let me get a game if it had M on it. So that was like the big thing was like if there's M, you can't get it. 17 plus. My mom like stuck to that until like she just gave up one year because Halo was M, and then she's like, well, that's aliens. It's not like blood.
Sounds like somebody was showing you Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. My brother's dad was showing me Mortal Kombat.
Oh, your brother, yeah.
So it's just like she was like, she gave up real quick. She's like, well, I tried.
Yeah. I'm not going to pay money for games for my son to be playing the violent ones, but...
Yeah, she was just like, well, I guess he could play as long as he's in the house playing video games, not causing trouble.
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s, so like parents like let us run around, watch rated R movies, everything. Like they didn't even care like what would happen to us. Like they're like, oh, he'll be fine.
You get kidnapped, they'll bring you back. They don't want.
I know. I don't know like what it was. Yeah. It's just I remember like coming home from like school or whatever, and be like, bye mom, we're gonna go ride bikes.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, come back home when it's around dinner time.
Yeah.
Like we're like in the woods, like building forts, doing like whatever, like all day long. Like
that's the most fun though.
Yeah. And then
we kind of got that. We're like, I feel like my cusp we cut off right there because I would be like, all right, mom, we're gonna go ride around the res on our bikes, or we would just go down to the beach or something. She'd be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, as long as you're back before the lights come on, then you're good.
Yeah.
And then like you said, we would just go build like fortresses on the beach or like in the woods, and it's like the coolest thing ever. But nowadays, I feel like there's some kids that just don't get that. They're really on their tablet and stuff. But I'm not saying not every kid's like that. But I feel like nowadays, like a lot of kids are just like not doing that as much.
Yeah, I don't know. My brother though, like I think my mom realized, like she's like, oh crap, I messed up with Tony, and so she was a big time helicopter mom for my younger brother, and then like all the other moms were doing it together. So like there was like this coalition of helicopter moms like linking together to create this.
Like super mom,
yeah, like a Voltron mom, a Voltron,
like the Infinity Stones as moms or something like that.
Yeah, there you go, sure, yeah, something like that. Which and they grew up like with this like very protected sort of childhood.
All right, well,
yeah,
I got two last things on here I want to ask you. So you went to Comic-Con Seattle, and I know a lot of people who watch the podcast have probably never heard of Comic-Con, or if they have, they've never experienced it, because I've always seen it on TV. And what I know of it is like people, they dress up and they go see these cool things. But what was your experience like at Comic-Con?
Well, the Emerald City Comic-Con was, I think it was a couple years ago now. It was a lot of fun. I've never been to one. My friends, they had extra passes, and so they let my wife and I use them. So we went there. I had a really good time. It was, I spent all my money easily. like there's comic books, there's artists, there's stickers. Like I was saying, the stickers of pugs,
Yeah.
you know, like oh, what these cute pug stickers. I just can't resist, right? You know, and you know, I got to meet. I mean, I get to meet all these really cool comic book artists that I've never met before. You know, some native artists were there, like Jeffrey Verigi. I think it's his name, I think it's Verigi. Yeah, who's this really cool dude? I think he's Port Gamble Scullum, and I don't know. Like, yeah, people were dressed up and running around, and it was really, really crowded. They had an arcade room set up. I went in there, and I didn't really play anything, actually.
Just kind of watched.
Yeah, I just looked around. I'm like, that's cool. Like, there's way too many people in there, and like when people like remake arcades, I notice like it depends on how old the person who's like curating the arcade again is. Yeah, and like usually when they do it, like these barcades that are coming out, they don't really serve my age. It's more like the 80s one. Well, no, the 80s ones, like early, even older than me. Like they got the Pong, they got, you know, Pac-Man, which is nice, Pac-Man. But for me, like my like heyday was like the early 90s fighting game time. Yeah, where I want to walk into a place and I'm hearing the trumpeting elephant calls of Street Fighter 2 and dolls on the stage. I want to walk in and see like Revolution X, the Aerosmith game where you're like shooting CDs and stuff like that, you know, like I want to see those games, but I don't see any of those really very often.
That makes a lot of sense, though. A lot of people go way farther than I feel like it needs to be.
Yeah,
like,
they got Galaga, which is they're all great games. It's just not my time.
It's like Pac-Man is like even older than most people who are going to be going there. And obviously people like that. Oh,
it's cool. It's cool to appreciate the history for sure.
But is the rumor true? Like when there's so many people there, you can't even like be on your phone, like the service, or was it fine in Seattle?
I don't know. Yeah, it's really packed.
Yeah, some people say it's so packed, like you can't even be on your phone.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know if I was using my phone very much. Yeah, but I mean, it was cool. Like the Rick and Morty comic book people were there. I'm like, oh, hey, whoa.
Do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I love Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Man.
Oh, it's hilarious. It reminds me of Rick, this drunk, crazy, super smart guy. Like reminds me of my dad. My dad is he drank a lot, but he's also really smart.
Were you Morty? Do you see yourself?
I don't see myself so much as Morty as like this like really scared person, but
I love that show. There 72 episodes were confirmed. They're working on season 4 right now. Oh, I'm super excited. Me and my buddies watch that one too.
Can't wait.
I can't wait for that show. One of my favorite ones is just probably the one where they have I'm gonna totally blank out. It's all the scenarios and all the different types of people, like the ghosts in the jars in there. And it's like, I don't know. Oh, it's the Parasite one where all these
Show me what you got.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Pickle Rick.
Yeah, Pickle Rick is a good one.
Oh, man. Fucking Pickle Rick.
There's Pickle Rick stuff was everywhere for a good couple months. Me and my buddy remade a Pickle Rick video. It's kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah, it was just like a reenactment. There's this guy.
What? I want to see it.
He went to McDonald's and he wanted Szechuan sauce and he threw a fit and we remade not at McDonald's, at his house, but it was just hella funny. But last question before we get going here.
I want to talk about everything.
Yeah. How would you
get them all?
How would you so say you have your knowledge today, and I'm going to frame this question probably weirdly. If you have your knowledge today, how long or what steps would it take for you to get to the internet?
Okay.
Treat it as like a video game, Say you were at a video game, like you had to get to the internet.
Like so there's two ways I'm kind of interpreting it. Either I'm in this sort of like really realistic simulation.
Yeah. As a game, that's
realistic. The game.
Yeah.
Okay. Or it could be like I was thinking like what's that Wreck-It Ralph 2 or something like that where they have to get
I want to
see
internet
that comes
movie.
in.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'll just walk into it. Anyway, the internet. So I have to invent the internet, or have to figure out a way to get the internet invented.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Tony.
Do I start from like sticks and stones?
No, you're you right now, like as Tony. Like,
but there's no internet.
Yeah, like the government said, hey, all right, Tony, you're the person who has to save the internet. What would you do?
Save the internet?
Or like recreate it. They're like, all the internet's down. We need a new internet.
You know what's crazy? Somebody from your tribe was like, just to go on a slight tangent before you, somebody from your tribe actually was on the team that launched the first internet satellite, the Telstar.
What?
That's John
Who?
McCoy, Senator John
Oh,
McCoy.
okay.
He tells the story all the time to us. You know, when he was my teacher before, so I got to hear it.
Senator John McCoy.
Senator John McCoy, dude, on the he launched the Telstar. But anyway, so I find him.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Maybe I'd look for where's John McCoy.
Okay.
Yeah, and use his big brain.
That's
to
a good
figure
way to
out
do
a
it,
way.
though.
Yeah, so I would utilize other people's skills
Okay.
because to me, like the internet is probably, you know, like if I had to picture it,
Yeah.
it's just like a bunch of tubes.
Yep.
You know, like with like you know, like in the bank where you,
Yeah.
you send the money up the
Oh,
tube
when
thing
you,
like
a
that.
drive-through.
That's how like the that's my that's my image. So I'm not very good at imagining the internet, you know, of information packets being sent back and forth through these tubes. So I would try to find like the techiest, smartest people in the world and try to build a dream team to get that rocking and rolling, right? So
How long do you think that would take you?
just a couple. I'd probably probably more than a lifetime because
Yeah.
I don't really have connection. Maybe okay. So what I would do is let's say I talk to John McCoy and
Yep.
he's like.
Oh, I know someone.
Because he's super supportive of Native people, right? And I'd be like, hey, I want to create this really great idea, and I'm like, I know people. You go in that deep baritone, yeah, I know somebody. And then so I'd be like, hey, and then he gets some other. He'd assemble the team, and I guess I'd just be like a wallflower, yeah. Be like, that's really cool.
Yeah, just soak
Keep
it
it
in.
going.
Be a sponge.
Yeah. I'll be like, you know, like enthusiastically supporting whatever it is that they do. I don't know.
That's a good way to do it, though. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I could just be like, all right, yeah, I just need a piece of paper, and you know, I could
MacGyver it.
Yeah.
Some bubble gum.
Yeah, bubble gum, some
duct tape.
toothpicks.
Yeah, toothpicks.
Maybe a cell phone, some foil, and then
Yeah.
we'll have the internet. And I yeah. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to say before we call this one a day?
You know, I just want the world to wake up and be happy.
Yeah, man.
And be nice.
People
and
need to love
friendly.
themselves, man. That's a big thing.
Love themselves, love each other. You know, even if with the door closed or not.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Don,
Yeah.
for having me come out. I've
Yeah.
never done a podcast in
Yeah.
my entire life. Sorry, everybody, if there's these listeners who are like, man, what's this guy mumbling and randomly going on tangents about? But
You're gonna maybe someone has a inner Tekken in them,
oh,
you know.
yeah.
So maybe they'll be like, oh shit, I'm not the only one. Maybe you'll motivate someone to come out of their shell and admit that they like Tekken.
Yeah, come and play Tekken. If you
Yeah.
wanna find me on
Yeah,
the
where can people find you?
interwebs, after I invent the internet,
Yep.
you can find me on this thing called Twitter, which I'll also invent and I'll become really it's M_Tatanka.
Okay. You're on Instagram as well?
I can't remember which. I deleted it from my phone though.
I'll find you and I'll tag you.
It's like
I think you follow me.
It's M_Tatanka, or I said M_Beefalo.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Is it the Beefalo?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much again for coming on. It's been Don Joseph Podcast episode 9. I just want to say again, thank you guys for joining. This has been Tony Brave. Thank you guys.